Well, good morning, Scunthorpe United supporters and fans alike. No excuses this morning. I'm a bit late doing the video. I normally try and do it as much after the game as I can, but obviously we travelled away yesterday, so we were pretty late sort of getting back, and we were going out later on in the evening, so I'm only just doing the video today. No excuses. Well, bar maybe a few explanations as to why maybe it went the way it did. But I think the first things first, I think it's a fair reflection to say that the iron didn't really turn up, particularly in the first half. That said, I think we had probably 95% of the possession throughout the game, but at times we certainly weren't quick enough with making the right pass at the right time. They'd set their stall out without being disrespectful. I don't think they were what you'd call a particular football inside. They were a kick it and hoof. They were a big set of lads, quite strong in the air. Again, like I said, I'm not going to make excuses, but there are some relevant factors that need to be mentioned about the game. I had to say before the game started, and looking at the pitch, I thought it looked a wonderful pitch. I thought the ground looked a wonderful little ground. It's quite a good little setup, to be fair. Again, credit to the fans yesterday who travelled. I think there was 600 and something supporters from Scunthorpe, and there was only an 800 and something crowd. So it just shows you what we're having to be up against. It's almost like we're playing in front of our own fans all the time. That's what it's going to be like, and it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be pretty, as it certainly wasn't yesterday. But I think factors that played in the result, I think we really did miss Clunan and Beeston in particular in the middle. We seem to be at odds. I think I'm not being critical to Jimmy Dean here, but sometimes I just think I would have tried going with two men up front pretty much sooner, and because I don't know, we just seem to miss something in front of goal. That final pass, the final right pass, didn't seem to be there. We had in terms of their players, I've got to say, and somebody was saying statistically, the one of the clubs with the highest amount of yellow cards, and I've got a funny feeling that must have been for diving. That said, they were doing it yesterday. They seemed to just throw themselves on fire. It was pretty poor acting from a lot of them. It was quite shocking, and everybody could see it, bar the referee, who didn't seem to pull them up on it like they should. There's got to be a debate in the last 15 minutes of the game on the safety of whether it was safe to continue playing when we had the violent rain and hailstone for the last 15 minutes. The pitch, although looking at a very nice pitch, I've seen bowling greens that didn't look as nice, but it seemed to hold the water, whether it was just because of the amount of rain, because it did come down extremely heavy. Created a problem, really. It wasn't conducive to football. It got where the ball wouldn't flow. In mid-pass, the ball would just stop dead. But it was obviously very dangerous for the players for, creating what could have been serious injuries. The two managers and the referee, I think, spoke on two occasions whether or not it should be abandoned. And while we've got to be honest as Scunthorpe fans, if we'd been winning, we probably wouldn't have wanted to cancel it either, it has to be said. But that's not the right reason for it not to be cancelled. If the rule is that both managers have to agree to stop the game, who's looking out for the safety side of things in terms of trying to make sure that there's no serious injuries? Because whatever team's in a position of winning in that situation are not going to want to end the game. If the two teams had been level, probably both teams would have been happy to stop the game at that. I don't know, and maybe have a rematch or call the result a draw. I don't know how that would work, but you've got to ask the question in terms of safety for players. Whether that needs to be something that's changed. I hope we haven't picked any serious injuries up. It's looking like Clunan may well be out for 2 or 3 weeks, and perhaps Beeston for 6 or 7 weeks. We're going to sorely miss those 2 players. Whether or not we're able to bring anybody else in, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'd like to think we've got players at the club that can fit in, but it certainly didn't work yesterday, and I think a big factor was those 2 players. So I think, again, while I'm not making excuses, because I don't think we turned up particularly in the first half, the weather was a factor. The referee was one of the poor. I don't like to really have a go at referees because I know how hard a job it is to do, but sometimes, in all my years of watching football, and I've seen some pretty bad refereeing over the years, I thought the guy had little man syndrome, if I'm being honest. And I don't think he didn't seem to be competent in what he was doing, or he seemed to be blind to what was going on the pitch, particularly from their players. It was shocking and embarrassing at times. And to be fair, the fans let him know their feelings, particularly at the end of the game. But we've lost. We've still got at home unbeaten, so we've got to try and hold on to that, and let's hope we can continue that on Monday against Scarborough. They have a day today to sort of recuperate and think up where they went wrong and put in place for Monday at 1 o'clock kick-off for Scarborough. And hopefully we get an home win and get back on there. We're second in the table. That's how it is. So again, I'm not wanting to make excuses. It's what it is. We're Iron fans. At some point, that unbeaten run was going to end, and it's ended now, so we just have to get used to it. Still proud of the lads, still proud of the team, love the club. Well done, Dave Hilton, Jimmy Dean. We go again on Monday. Take care, everybody. Up the Iron.